Hi there. We are looking at Studio 4.05. So in your content, when you get to Studio 4.05, we're going to scroll down. We're going to take a look at the Learn Instructions. And for this one, you are going to create. So if I go to the Studio Instructions here, all right, so you're going to create a clay relief sculpture or an in the round sculpture. You don't have to do both. In this studio, you'll make a relief sculpture or an in the round sculpture inspired by those created by the artists of ancient civilizations. Before you get started, for your clay carving tools, gather items such as a plastic knife, a craft stick, pencil, a toothpick. You may also want to get a little piece of a sponge for smoothing the clay. Get some cardboard sturdy enough to use as a temporary base and an empty plastic tub or old plastic bowl or similar container that you can keep some water in. You might want to gather a few toothpicks to insert into the clay forms you make to give your figure added strength and support. So you will use the clay that the school sends you. They send you two, I think, pieces of clay, and you're only using one. Don't use both of them. Protect your work area with newspaper, printer paper, or other similar stuff. And you'll want to store the clay in a plastic bag until you're ready to use it. And if you don't finish sculpting it in one sitting, make sure you put it back in plastic so that it stays soft so you can work with it when you have time to finish it up. So heads up, you have 5 lessons in which to complete the studio. And you'll be making, this says you're making 2, but you're just making 1 and you have a choice. You can choose between those 2. Um, You'll need to finish carving them by the end of Studio 4 so that you're able to turn them in. You can also take pictures of them before they get dry. You're just going to submit the photographs to the 4.05 TGA assignment. To make each sculpture, start with a lump of clay no larger than a baseball. It's particularly important for in the round sculpture as it will need to be small enough to stand upright while the clay is still wet. We do have a video for you where Miss Kellogg walks you through how to do one of these. Um, until you finish carving your sculpture, set them on a cardboard base and carefully place them inside a plastic bag after each session to keep them soft. So you do need some cardboard as a base, something to hold some water. So a container of water, could be plastic, it could be a jar, it could be a can, some newspaper just to protect your work surface, and paper towels to help clean. You've got your clay. You might want a pencil pencil or a toothpick so you can kind of carve into it if you're doing relief. Um, a sponge is helpful. These things are optional. Your sketchbooks, you can sketch out what you want to do, look at reference books or magazines or photos. A rolling pin or just the side of a glass will help you roll out your clay flat. Plastic knives, craft sticks, toothpicks, those are all useful items. So you'll choose a subject, decide if you're doing an in the round, decide what kind of person you're going to want to do. If you're doing a relief, decide what you want to carve out. It's always helpful if you sketch it out on paper first, and then you can sketch it out on the clay once you get the shapes in there that you need to. For relief sculpture, be sure to emphasize the figure so it stands out from the background scenery. You can make it the biggest, put it in the middle, and give it the most details or texture. So that's just to get you started. And again, emphasizing you don't have to do both of these. You're just choosing one of these, either the clay relief sculpture or an in the round sculpture.